Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Becker Retirement Group are not affiliated companies. Becker Retirement Group is an independent financial services firm that helps people create retirement strategies using a variety of insurance and investment products. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to safety, security, or guaranteed lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investment products. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Becker Retirement Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. You should talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions about your personal situation. We are not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
This is Real Retirement Radio with Arwen and Randy Becker with the Retirement News Network's Megan Mozak. With more than 45 combined years of advisory experience, Arwen and Randy founded Becker Retirement Group in 1999 with the understanding that retirement is more than just money. It can be the best time of your life. This is Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network.
Hi, Megan Mozak here from the Retirement News Network alongside Arwen Becker of Becker Retirement Group. Each and every week I get to chat with Arwen and her husband Randy. They are the founders of Becker Retirement Group. They have 2 locations serving you, Bellevue and Bothell. I want to start things off with their phone number. As you listen today, if you have questions or if you'd like to sit down with Randy, follow up on something you hear on the show, begin planning for your retirement future, you're welcome to call 800-725-8220. That number again, 800-725-8220. Arwen, I have to say, Social Security, it just continues to be this really hot topic in the news. We've got headlines all the time saying, oh, it's got a really bright future or a really bad future. And it's hard to track that, what's really going on. And I think all of us are concerned about how Social Security is going to play out and really how it's going to affect our individual retirements. And we hear that Social Security, you say this all the time, Randy echoes this, it's the foundation of most retirement plans, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. But with all these opinions from the people in the news talking about the future of Social Security, how do we know what's going on? It sounds like that foundation maybe isn't as stable as it once was.
You know, those are all really good points because we'd get that question, I swear, at every single event that I give. That's something that I'm having to address with people. And, you know, the reality is, Megan, is determining when and how to claim Social Security benefits. It really can be pretty overwhelming, especially if you don't understand how the benefits work. And really, the important part, how they work in your overall retirement plan. But what I'm trying to do today is to help you be proactive by looking at some of the commonly circulated myths about Social Security and then really separating that fact from fiction. You know what I'm saying? And so Social Security, for a lot of people, like you said, it really can be an ally in your retirement and a great piece of it. And on today's show, we're going to provide you with information on how you may be able to optimize those monthly benefits for you.
Now, Arwen, I wondered if you could just give us the rundown of exactly where we're at with Social Security. What's going on with it today?
Well, you know, to understand what's happening right now, it's really good to just know some of the history behind Social Security. And this is the part that always just every time I say it, it always still surprises me. So back in 1935, when FDR signed the Social Security Act into law, the average life expectancy was 61 years of age.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I know.
This was what year?
1935.
My word.
I know. So you're taking us out, what is that? 80 years, basically 80 years or something like that. And now we've got, you know, full retirement age. So if the average life expectancy was 61, but back in 1935, full retirement age was 65. So when those benefits turned on, somebody was 65 years of age, but the life expectancy was 61. That always surprises everybody when they hear it. And so when you look at today, things are so different because on average, today's retirees are going to live until 79. And for those that are born in 1960 or later, their full retirement age is 67. So it's not only a total flip-flop, but there's still this huge gap. And so because people are living longer now and they're receiving benefits for a longer period of time, that's one of the elements that's putting a lot of strain on the system. But then on top of that, you have Social Security funds that are being hit really strong because you have 76 million baby boomers that are born between 46 and 1964 that are starting to retire. And by 2035, an estimated 79 million Americans will be at least 65 years of age. So really what this means is that all the funds going out of Social Security are going out faster than they're coming in from payroll taxes. And so it's a really big piece that provides a lot of insecurity for a lot of people. But, they did have to, make some shifts and make some claiming options and do some things in order to try and lessen the load on the Social Security system. But the chances are that benefits over time are going to start to be reduced. So there's a lot of pieces to consider as we're looking at all of this. When I talk about this at the seminar, I always say that trying to figure out how Social Security works with everything really is how it overlays with the plan itself. We can't do this little microclimate of just looking at Social Security for you personally. And so really, that's a lot of times the question. How do I know when to take it? When's the appropriate time? And these are questions that we help people answer every single day, because really what we're trying to do is protect not only what you've worked your entire life to accumulate, but to get the most out of those Social Security benefits. And so it's really important to work with somebody who focuses solely on retirement like we do. So if that's you and you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, let's talk about your plan. Let's talk about how Social Security works in your overall plan. So give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. And what we're going to do is we'll schedule a time to sit down and we'll work through what we call your best life retirement plan. I promise you're going to find it extremely valuable. There's absolutely no cost or obligation. We would just love to visit with you and really just see where we can be of assistance. So if you want to find out where you're at and how this all comes together, 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220.
We hope you'll make time to sit down with Arwen, her husband, Randy, the great team there at Becker Retirement. They treat you like family. You'll leave feeling so much relief. Just that confidence, knowing that as you go into retirement, you've got a plan. That number again, 800-725-8220, 800-725-8220. Online as well. Check out beckerretirement.com. For more information, especially about Arwen's events you can plan to attend, go to beckerretirement.com. Arwen, I think a lot of us out here might not be 100% clear on how Social Security actually works. And we've been focused on that today, but I want to kind of just take a half step back, because when I look at my paycheck every month, I can see the portion that's taken out for that Social Security tax. But I think some people assume that money is then put into an account. It's got their name on it, and that's the money they're going to use when they retire.
Right.
Is that how it actually works, though?
No, that's actually not the case. So the way it works is that the taxes that you see being pulled out of your paycheck, those are actually funding the benefits of retirees today. So if you think of it this way, it's that the taxes that you're paying out of your paycheck could be funding your parents' retirement. Does that make sense? But the good news is, even though Social Security taxes aren't saved for you, on average, most people get back more than they actually put into the system. So a study in 2015 found that the typical single woman earning $47,800 in 2015 paid $342,000 in taxes during her working years. Geez, that just sounds like a really big number. But she receives $549,000 in Social Security and Medicare benefits over her lifetime. So it's interesting to kind of see it that way.
It is. That's a very enlightening way to look at that. And given what we know about Social Security, it's got this uncertain future. Can we still depend on it? Can a retiree today think about Social Security as part of their actual retirement income, Arwen?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking at retirement or, maybe it's 5 or 10 years out, that is a very common thing that people are wondering. And yes, you should be able to rely on a portion of that to be part of your future income. It's part of the strategy. We know that there are going to be some shifts and changes over the years to be able to make sure that people still have benefits. But it is really essential that you rely on other sources of income for retirement, because you don't want to be left expecting your Social Security benefits to do the majority work in your retirement, because they're just not designed to do that.
Arwen, let's talk about options then. If we need to supplement our Social Security income, what can we supplement that with that's going to be guaranteed?
Guaranteed. Oh, such a good word because, Social Security, just like pensions, people love that consistent income that they know is going to be guaranteed income for the rest of their life. So there are a lot of options out there for you. And, the challenge is very few of those options actually offer guarantees. So for people who want guaranteed income, an annuity may be a good option for them. That's sometimes the people hear that word annuity and you're like, it kind of makes you cringe or whatever it is. But oftentimes there's a misconception of what kind of annuities that we're talking about. When we're talking about guaranteed income, we also want to look at annuities that don't have risk like variable annuities do. So just to back up really quick, what is an annuity? Well, annuity, just the term annuity means steady stream of payments. And so it's an insurance contract that's backed by an insurance carrier. And so it's saying that with this much money put in there, we're going to guarantee this stream of income for a certain period of time or for the rest of your life. So annuities, they're extremely versatile. They can be tailored specifically to your unique circumstances. And then they often offer a wide range of riders and features that are designed specifically to address certain needs, whether that be healthcare or longevity or a number of different factors that people are focusing on as they head into retirement. So in return for this lump sum of money, a guaranteed stream of payments is provided as long as you or you and your spouse, if your spouse is included in that, are living. And then the lump sum payment and the amount that you're putting in really is dependent on your age. So there are a lot of different things. There are some that are just a fixed rate annuity. This is how much you're going to get. There's no bells and whistles on it. It's kind of like a bank CD, but higher interest rate than bank CDs are paying. And then some of them actually have the ability to earn interest that's linked to the performance of an external index. So not actually invested directly in the market, but it's actually linked with an index and it's tracking with it. And yet it still offers that guaranteed principal protection of the money that you put in. There's a lot of great features. Again, a lot of people either have very little information or a lot of times the information that they have is not entirely accurate. And so before you throw the baby out with the bathwater and just assume I'd never want an annuity or I never really heard about annuities when I was in my 40s or whatever it is, it's because they are much more appropriate for people who are moving into the fixed income space and don't have these really big pensions at that point. So we want to make sure we get all of the facts before we start making some of those decisions on it. So you know what? Maybe that's going to be right for you. I don't know. Maybe it's not. And the only way that we know is by sitting down and looking at your specific situation. If you're feeling like, gosh, guaranteed income is really something I would love to have. All I'm going to have is Social Security coming in. I don't have a pension. Maybe that might be a good option to look into an annuity. Who knows? But let us sit down and talk to you about that. Give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. And we'll talk about some of the options that you might have for consistent, reliable income throughout your entire retirement. Income that you can't outlive. So if you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, give us a call, 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220.
We're talking all things Social Security with Arwen Becker today. Up next, we'll continue to dissect some of the common myths so we can get to the facts. Stay with us.
You're listening to Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network. Saturday morning, drinking my coffee, checking my accounts, then that little voice in my head. What on earth are you doing? Why are you trying to be your own financial advisor? You don't know anything about the financial business. You got too much money at stake to do this by yourself. Too many people are counting on you. Sometimes you gotta listen to those voices. So I made the call. Monday I got the call back and met with Arwen and Randy Becker. Just the three of us. Had my numbers, portfolio, basically everything, and they said, put that away. We didn't talk about what I had. We talked about what kept me up at night. What Karen wants when we retire. Don't want to let her down. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and now here it is. We're not quite ready to retire, but we're ready to be ready.
Let's talk. Becker Retirement Group. 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Becker Retirement Group are not affiliated companies.
This is Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network.
Great to be here with Arwen Becker of Becker Retirement Group. Today, Megan Mozak. We're talking Social Security on the program today, really the foundation of so many retirement plans. Maybe you have questions about Social Security, its future, how you're going to use your benefits as part of your overall retirement plan. Arwen's number, if you want to visit with her husband Randy, their team, 800-725-8220 is the number. Remember, they have two locations for you, Bothell and Bellevue. The number again, 800-725-8220. And we are getting to the bottom of some of these common Social Security myths. Arwen, over the years, you and Randy, you've worked with hundreds of pre-retirees and retirees. What do you think is one of the most common misconceptions that you hear from people about Social Security?
You know, I think probably one of the things that I hear most often is that people think that receiving your benefits earlier, the better kind of thing. And the rationale behind this myth is that if you decide to wait a few years and you die before collecting benefits, you're going to miss out on all this money, right? So that's kind of what people are thinking. Well, it is true. You know, some people, they might pass away, never collect Social Security. But research shows that unless you're already ill, or maybe you have family history of a dramatically shortened lifespan, it's likely that you're not going to die before collecting. And truly, you might actually live a much, much longer life. So because of this, depending on your unique circumstances, it honestly might be better to wait until full retirement age to start collecting benefits. So if you started receiving your benefits as early as they're available, so that's at age 62, your monthly benefits are going to be significantly lower than the amount that you could have if you waited until your full retirement age or if you waited until longer. So if you think about this, typically if somebody is their full retirement age is at age 67, and that's 100% of that benefit. Well, if you start collecting it at 62, you're going to be getting about 73% of that benefit, okay? But if you delay it until 70, you're going to be getting about 135% of that benefit. And so again, it comes back to you've got to be able to see how this all functions within the plan, because sometimes collecting it early, some people just really don't need their Social Security to make their overall retirement plan function properly and function well. It's kind of like just a side note, and taking it early is great because they can go travel a little bit more. I'm sure that many of you out there, if I put an extra, I don't know, say $1,400 a month into your bank account for an extra 4 years, you could probably find something pretty great to do with it. But getting it early isn't always the best way. So we have to make sure that we're looking at that and understanding why we're doing what we're doing and having a purpose behind the time in which we choose to take our Social Security.
Wow, that timing's so important. I bet you blow a lot of people's minds when you share some of that.
Yeah.
It's powerful, though. That's just waiting is so powerful. You mentioned the earliest age you can start receiving the benefits, Arwen, is age 62. That's the same for everyone. What about full retirement age? Is that the same for everyone as well?
No, it's not. And that's really important to understand. So your full retirement age, it depends on your birth year. So for any of you out there that were born in 1942 or earlier, your full retirement age is 65. So if you were born between 1943 and 1954, your FRA, as they call it, is 66. And then if you were born between 55 and 59, then it kind of gets onto this graduated scale. So 1955, it's 66 and 2 months. And then 1956, it's 66 and 4 months. And it kind of continues up from there. So that kind of the last one being 1959, it's 66 and 10 months. And then anybody after 1960, your FR age is 67. So what we often are finding and hearing about is that full retirement age is likely going to be pushed up just due to this longevity that we've talked about, that people are living so much longer. So it wouldn't be surprising if they continue to kind of push that up to just alleviate some of the burden on the whole system. And you know what? A lot of people don't get, they don't understand that the Social Security Administration stopped sending out those little pamphlets that told us what our FRA was and what we're going to receive as benefits. Now you have to go on to SSA.gov. and you create a My SSA account. And that's where you're going to actually now see that same printout that they used to send to all of us that has all that information. And now you can just go and access it at any time. Maybe all of this resonates with you. If you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, let's talk about your plan and how Social Security works into that, or build you a plan if you don't have one. So give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. And what we're going to do is we're just going to schedule a time. We're going to sit down, have a visit, and we're going to start working through your best life retirement plan. I promise you're going to find it extraordinarily valuable. Our whole purpose is to leave you better than when you came in, and there's no cost or obligation. We would love to just visit with you and see where we can be of assistance. So if you want to find out where you're at as it relates to the future of your retirement, give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220.
Don't forget that website as well. You can learn more about Arwen, her husband, Randy, the great team that they have there. Go to beckerretirement.com. And you can also discover more about the retirement planning events that Arwen and Randy hold all throughout the year. Go to beckerretirement.com.
Hey, Megan, speaking of retirement planning events, can I tell you about one that I'm really excited about?
Oh, you bet.
So in June, I was able to partner with David Bach with 4 other female financial advisors from around the country, and we're doing a relaunch of Smart Women Finish Rich. So David Bach is a 9-time New York Times bestselling author, and Smart Women Finish Rich, when it was launched in '99, was the #1 bestselling women in finance books. So what we're doing is we're doing this relaunch of the reprint and the revised edition that launches on September 18th. And I'm having 2 events here in the Seattle area. September 8th, that's going to be at 11 a.m. and September 11th at 6 p.m. So if you want to find out some information about how to get on the list for that, yes, it is ladies only. Sorry, guys. What you can do is you can go to our website and you can send an email and we'll get you on the list for that.
Arwen, this is really special. David Bach, talk about a mastermind when it comes to finances and saving, retirement planning. What a special event. And you mentioned it's ladies only. This is so important for the women out there who are facing retirement right now.
Oh my gosh, so much so. And, and it is important for you ladies out there just to remember, the facts are kind of glaring sometimes, but 80% of men die married, and that means 80% of women die single. So it really is my passion to educate women on all things retirement and make sure that they at least have a good understanding of what their current plan looks like and what that's going to look like for them, especially if they are married and their spouse passes away, because we really want to make sure that you're taken care of too.
Let's give the phone number and the website if you want to get on the list, as Arwen said. If you want to attend those events, September 8th or 11th, your choice. Go to beckerretirement.com or call the number at Becker Retirement, 800-725-8220. You mentioned that longevity risk, which is always so interesting to talk about. People say, what? Living long? That's a risk? It is. And I want to find out from you, what about Social Security? How does that play into that longevity risk? How do we keep our income lasting no matter how long our life lasts?
Well, I think it just comes down to the fact that you can't rely on Social Security for all of it. Social Security, your benefit really shouldn't make up any more than about 40% of the income you'll need in retirement. And so it is a piece of it, but you're going to need more than that. You're going to need a complete income plan. And that usually means a combination of a lot of different types of accounts. So that could include a 401k, possibly an IRA, other investments you have, and maybe a pension if you're lucky. Annuities also can help offset the cost for people who aren't, lucky enough to have a pension and are going to enjoy a long, healthy retirement. So, there's a lot of different things that can be done. People love consistency and simplicity in retirement. I see it over and over and over again. People come in, they got a lot of different accounts, stuff spread out all over the place. And they're like, how does this all work together? How does it function most effectively? How do we keep taxes low? How do we withdraw it in the proper order? How do we keep costs and fees low and lower volatility? All these things come together. And a lot of times, again, as I said, people don't have a pension. So an annuity sometimes can really fill that void of the guaranteed fixed income piece. Because I love putting together portfolios, and we've got diversified income portfolios, and we've got a number of different things that are great at generating that growth and the longevity protection for the future that we're looking for. But for the day-to-day income, it's really great to be able to utilize an account that's not fluctuating with the ups and downs of the market. So there's a lot of things that can come together that can be a huge benefit to you as you're looking at your retirement plan.
Arwen, what if someone immediately started accepting their Social Security? They did it right when they could at age 62, but then looking back, hindsight, they kind of wish they wouldn't have done that. Is that something you can reverse?
Well, it's a good question. Actually, about a quarter of the people who choose to receive their benefits earlier do actually regret the decision sometimes later. So if you are one of those people, you might have an option. So here it is. If you started receiving benefits less than 12 months ago, you may be able to withdraw your application and reapply at a future date. But you have to keep in mind, you have to pay back the benefits that you've received. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you want to start this process, you're going to need to go into the Social Security and you're going to need to fill out a form 521. It's called a request for withdrawal of application. And then you're going to send it into the Social Security Administration. And then this will allow them to determine the amount you need to pay back. And you'll also, of course, be notified once they've made that decision. So the process can take a little bit. So you want to be patient if that's something that you're looking into doing. So when you think about your future and your retirement, how does it make you feel? Are you overwhelmed, maybe nervous or worried? You know what? If so, that is normal. We see that all the time. We help people just like you, people who want the most out of their retirement, but honestly, they just don't know how to make that happen. And I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling in over my head, I love to make a list. And of course, the best part of making a list is checking it off and checking things off that list. And Randy and I, we kind of thought about it and we decided to make an income planning checklist, one that is specifically for retirement. It's designed just for you as you begin to think about these things in retirement and how you're going to generate income. And it covers a lot of the big issues facing you as you get closer to retirement. Those issues from longevity to healthcare costs to Social Security to taxes. So it's your retirement income planning checklist. It contains 10 things that you might want to consider when you're working with a financial professional to develop your very own retirement income strategy. So head to our website at realretirementradio.com. There you're going to be able to download your very own retirement income planning checklist. You know, understanding how to replace your paycheck after you leave the workforce could make all the difference in your retirement. So download our special guide today at realretirementradio.com. That's realretirementradio.com. Or you can give us a call at 800-725-8220.
On the show today, we're covering a lot of ground, and we have more to go. Up next, we're talking about the factors like marital status, employment status, things that can affect your Social Security benefits. You don't want to miss it.
You're listening to Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network.
Concerned about missing the boat to a confident retirement? Don't worry. It's never too late to establish your relationship with a financial professional. In fact, if you've already retired, it may even be more important to have a reliable, trusted advisor help keep your retirement strategy on track. Act today. Optimize your time horizon, your recovery time, and take advantage of available opportunities to develop your overall financial strategy. Don't walk alone. Choose to work with an independent financial professional. Why not start today?
If it's important to you to get started today to refine your retirement strategy, give me a call. I'm Arwen Becker with Becker Retirement Group. Let's sit down together and look at your options. Call me at 1-800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. By contacting us, you may be provided with information regarding the purchase of insurance and investment products.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Saturday morning, drinking my coffee, checking my accounts, then that little voice in my head. What on earth are you doing? Why are you trying to be your own financial advisor? You don't know anything about the financial business. You got too much money at stake to do this by yourself. Too many people are counting on you. Sometimes you gotta listen to those voices. So I made the call. Monday I got the call back and met with Arwen and Randy Becker. Just the three of us. Had my numbers, portfolio, basically everything, and they said, put that away. We didn't talk about what I had, we talked about what kept me up at night. What Karen wants when we retire. Don't want to let her down. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and now here it is. We're not quite ready to retire, but we're ready to be ready.
Let's talk. Becker Retirement Group.
800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Becker Retirement Group are not affiliated companies.
This is Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network.
Glad to be here with Arwen Becker today. I'm Megan Mozak. We're talking Social Security on the program. Her phone number, if you have your own questions about Social Security, your benefits, when to claim, how to claim, there's a lot to know, and how to work it all into your own retirement future, your own strategy for retirement. Arwen can show you the way. She works alongside her husband, Randy. They have a terrific team. They're standing by to help. Here's that phone number, 800-725-8220, 800-725-8220. I mentioned we're talking through some of these misconceptions about Social Security and retirement, and we talked about the advantages of waiting to start receiving your benefits. That helps you optimize your monthly benefits. So, Arwen, for people out there trying to do this, does that then mean between the age of 62 and whatever their full retirement age is, that they can't receive any money at all?
You know, Megan, if you were asking me that question prior to December 31st, 2015, my answer would have been not necessarily. And that's because one of the biggest changes related to the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, it took effect after that date. So up until that point, and this is something that comes up at my events all the time, people ask this question, there was a strategy called file and suspend. And so you may have heard of that. And what it was is it allowed a married couple at full retirement age to receive spousal benefits and delay retirement credits at the same time. It was a pretty sweet deal, to be honest with you. And so once the Bipartisan Budget Act went into force, that option was somewhat eliminated. So it's only available to those individuals who reached age 62 prior to December 31st, 2015. So for those that turned 62 after that date, once they file for Social Security benefits, they're deemed to have filed for the highest benefit available to them, whether that was a spousal benefit or their own benefit, but they can't restrict it to only a spousal benefit. There is an exception though, and the exception is a widow or a widower. So if you lost your spouse and you've not already filed for benefits based on their work history, you can claim a survivor benefit based on your deceased spouse work record and allow your own benefit to increase based on delayed retirement credits up to age 70. So then at that point, if your benefit at age 70 is higher than your survivor's benefit, you can switch and begin claiming your own benefit. This is what people used to be able to do if their spouse was still living, and now you just can't do it unless you were turning 62 prior to that time in 2015.
Wow. You see, this is the advantage of working with a professional, someone like you, Arwen, because there's a lot to know here. I can see how the average person out there might gloss over some of this. You could miss some of these special rules or exceptions, and boy, you miss out on income then, don't you?
Yep. It's so true. I mean, there's something like 2,300 rules. There's 10 complex formulas for couples. It's very complicated. And that's why having a professional help you is really important.
And you tell me, if you go into the Social Security Administration, they're not going to give you advice. They're going to tell you what's possible, but they're not going to say, this is actually your best route. So
yeah. And you know what I can't figure out? Whenever I tell somebody to go into the Social Security Administration, it's never received well.
I wonder why.
They're like, oh, please don't make me do it. Please don't make me do it. Although, you know what, really going in and talking to somebody, they can give you all of the specific facts. And that is really important sometimes.
Indeed. I want to ask you about divorce, because that comes up sometimes. What about spouses who end up divorcing? Is there a way that they could still receive benefits based on their ex-spouse's work history?
Yeah, and that's something that we run into all the time. It's sad but true, but the largest growing segment of divorce in our country is what they call gray divorce. So it's people who have been married longer than 25 years. So when I sit down with a client or a potential client for the first time, that's one of the first questions I ask them, are you married or divorced? If they're coming in as a single person, are you widowed or divorced? And I then ask them how long they were married when they are divorced, because it has to do with this specific topic. So if you were married for at least 10 years, yes, there can be benefits based on your ex-spouse's work history. And you can actually apply for spousal benefits before your divorce divorced spouse does, as long as you've been divorced for at least 2 years. But the thing that negates all of this is if you remarry, then all of that stuff's off the table. Should you or your spouse get married and divorced multiple times, then you would be eligible for the highest benefit available for any of those ex-spouses, as long, again, as the marriage lasted more than 10 years and you're not remarried at the time of reapplying for those benefits. You know, obviously life can take a lot of turns over the years, and oftentimes those turns are going to surprise us. Be one of the first 10 qualified callers today and receive a no obligation Best Life retirement plan to help ensure your income strategy is in line with your current financial situation and those retirement goals and dreams that you have. And so to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down together. We're going to look at what you own and how it all functions with the goals that you have for your future. If you find that maybe you have a strategy in place, maybe it needs to be updated. Maybe we need to look at it and give you a second opinion and see what kind of strategy we could create to help you feel more confident. I want you to leave our office with a sigh of relief going, wow, it's actually better than I expected it to be. Or gosh, I feel so much more peace of mind. That's what we're always trying to achieve with anybody who comes in. So again, it's for the first 10 who call in. You should have at least $250,000 saved for retirement. So don't wait. Give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. We want to make sure your retirement plan reflects your current financial situation. So 800-725-8220.
And head over to the website if you'd like more information about what Arwen and Randy can offer you as you begin to plan for retirement. Go to beckerretirement.com. That's beckerretirement.com. What about Social Security, Arwen? What should we expect, just in terms of it replacing our monthly paychecks that we're currently getting in the workforce?
Yeah, well, I had mentioned that a little bit earlier. It is an important question. And being able to overlay that with your entire plan is really important. But the amount that your Social Security check, it really should only be expected to replace about 36% to 40% of your inflation adjusted earnings. Obviously, that leaves a significant gap for a lot of people. If Social Security is the only income that you're going to have coming in because you don't have a pension, it's a pretty big gap that we need to solve for. And that's what we do day in, day out. Preserving assets is our number one focus. Income planning is second to that, because a lot of people are in this situation where only Social Security is the only income that they have coming in consistently. So there's a lot of different things that include, trying to save as much as we can in our 401k while we're still working. So we're going to have these assets available to us to fill in that gap. Maybe we end up utilizing an annuity to fill in that income gap, or looking at a diversified income portfolio. Again, it's very specific to your unique circumstance.
Arwen, it's pretty clear that it's so important to have that income strategy. I have to admit, though, this sounds daunting. It sounds like it would be really tough. If you're not doing this day in and day out, it'd be hard to know just how to start. This is where having that financial professional really can help. So as we're searching for that person to partner with, what qualities are we looking for here?
It is daunting, actually. I mean, because, just some of the little nuances that we see all the time when people come in, they're surprised because, it's not all just about having an Excel spreadsheet and plugging in some inflation and taxes and things of that nature. Sometimes it's the nuances of your expenses currently and what's going to change in the next 5 to 10 years and how that's reflected in the plan. So that's why working with somebody who specializes specifically in retirement is so important. You may be working with an advisor, and maybe you've been working with them for decades, that focus on accumulation, growing assets, and they have done a fantastic job and you love them. But it doesn't mean that they're going to be appropriate for you now distributing all those assets back to you for the rest of your life. It's kind of like if they were the world's best pediatrician, being the world's best pediatrician still doesn't make it appropriate for you once you hit your 50s and 60s. And so you want to make sure that you're talking with a financial professional that's going to be able to address these specific questions that so many people have. How long has that person been in business? Really think about, have they gone through the Great Recession? I think I heard a staggering statistic. I guess I can't verify it, but it was millions of advisors that are functioning in the country right now that started after 2009. And so if they haven't experienced that, or the dot bomb, or even some of those before, I mean, Randy's been doing this for 31 years. That's walking a lot of people through a lot of major corrections. And I've been doing this now as an advisor for 15 years. And so knowing that you're working with somebody who can help you through that part, and then somebody who does focus specifically on retirement, on preservation of assets, is really important. And then just looking at, is the person that you're working with, are they a captive advisor or are they independent? And that just means, are they given a suite of products and investments that they can offer to their clients, or do they have the whole world of investing open to them like we do as a company? And, I think I had mentioned it, but it definitely bears repeating. When we founded this company, we founded it with 3 foundational pillars that go in a specific order. And I say this in every of my first meetings. Number 1 is preservation of assets, because you've worked too hard your whole life to accumulate those assets. Number 2 is income planning, because we need to make sure that that income's coming in like it was when you were working. And then third to that is growth. Growth is still vitally important, especially for you ladies out there, because of longevity. And that's going to often be our inflation protection and future health care, all that kind of stuff. But we don't want the growth piece to overshadow the preservation and the income. It's still important, but it needs to stay in its proper place once you're now on a fixed income. So those are big questions that you want to make sure you're asking. Is the person I'm sitting down with a fiduciary? I am. That's a very important piece to knowing that somebody's doing what's in your best interest. So those are some of just the basics that people really need to think about. And you know what? When we're talking to people about all of this, one of the big questions that we get all the time is, how do I know when I can retire, when I'm ready? How do I know I'm never going to have to go back to work, that I can really just kind of cut the cord and now move on to that next season of life? And that's a question that we help people tackle every single day, because protecting what you've worked your entire life to accumulate is our number 1 job. And you don't want to just leave that up to anybody. You need to talk to somebody who specializes in all things retirement. So if that's you and you've saved at least $250,000, let's talk about your plan. So give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. And we're going to schedule a time to sit down and we're going to work through your best life retirement plan. I promise you're going to find it extraordinarily valuable. There's absolutely no cost or obligation. We would just love to visit and see where we could be of assistance. So give us a call at 800-725-8220. Again, that number, 800-725-8220.
Up next, we'll cover inflation and some other considerations when building your retirement income strategy. Stay with us.
You're listening to Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network. Saturday morning, drinking my coffee, checking my accounts, then that little voice in my head. What on earth are you doing? Why are you trying to be your own financial advisor? You don't know anything about the financial business. You got too much money at stake to do this by yourself. Too many people are counting on you. Sometimes you gotta listen to those voices. So I made the call. Monday, I got the call back and met with Arwen and Randy Becker. Just the 3 of us. Had my numbers, portfolio, basically everything, and they said, put that away. We didn't talk about what I had. We talked about what kept me up at night. What Karen wants when we retire. Don't want to let her down. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and now here it is. We're not quite ready to retire, but we're ready to be ready.
Let's talk. Becker Retirement Group, 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Becker Retirement Group are not affiliated companies.
The sooner you establish your relationship with an independent financial professional, the better. Why? That longer time horizon can give you more flexibility, broader product choices, more time to respond to market changes, more time to take advantage of opportunities, and more time to coordinate your entire financial strategy. Those are powerful reasons to get a professional in your corner while you're still working. Don't put off planning for your retirement. Choose to work with an independent financial professional. Why not start today? It may even help you retire earlier.
If it's important to you to get started today to refine your retirement strategy, give me a call. I'm Arwen Becker with Becker Retirement Group. Let's sit down together and look at your options. Call me at 1-800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. By contacting us, you may be provided with information regarding the purchase of insurance and investment products.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This is Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network.
Megan Mozak alongside Arwen Becker today of Becker Retirement Group. If you're listening today, you're thinking about retirement, you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, I want to make sure you have Arwen's phone number. Now, Arwen and Randy, they've been helping people right here in our community plan successfully for retirement. They've been doing it for decades. They'd love to help you as well. The phone number, 800-725-8220, 800-725-8220. And you're listening to a fantastic show today because we're really talking about the building blocks of any retirement plan. You start with your Social Security benefits, and that's what we're focused on. And you're whittling away for us here, Arwen, some of those Social Security myths, and you're giving us the facts. And we're talking about how Social Security can help sort of fill the gap in your retirement income. I know people out there, as they think about retirement, they understand the fact that they've got to plan for inflation. That will impact our retirement income. But I've heard Social Security benefits referred to as inflation-protected income. Is that right?
Yeah. So when we think about inflation, especially for the ladies, I mean, this is something when we talk about longevity risk and things of that nature, inflation protection is something that we're going to need to look at. There's my husband's great uncle. So Uncle Dan lived until he was 96 years of age, and he retired from Sears at 55. So that meant that he was retired for 41 years. So inflation, if it's going up on an average of about 3% annually, that's going to really erode a lot of your retirement assets over time. So it is a big risk. And, when people think specifically about Social Security benefits and being inflation protected, they're kind of thinking about the cost of living adjustments. And so that's really the piece that we want to make sure that we're looking at. What is cost of living adjustments? It's to offset the increased cost of living. And they have some different things. It's measured by the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. And it's just kind of some stuff, right, that they're looking at. The challenge is a lot of times the cost of living isn't actually keeping up with inflation. So it is important to know that your Social Security benefits are getting an increase. But when we're projecting that in the plan, we'll tell you very clearly why we're going to make the cost of living typically lower than what it's been historically, because anything that we can do to put more pressure on your retirement plan and be able to show you that it still functions, it just means that there's more money there at the end of the day. And that's the part that people really want to know. Just tell me I'm going to be okay. Just tell me that my money's going to last me in my lifetime. Just tell me that I've got health care covered for the future, that these things all come together. I know I've told this story, but it's just such a powerful story of a gal who came into a seminar of ours in June of 2008. And I just call her Lucy. That's not her name. But when Lucy came in to sit down with us, she had actually just recently been widowed and there was no pension. They lost a Social Security once her husband passed, and she was only 59 years of age. She had taken care of kids and ailing parents, and so she really couldn't go back out into the workforce significantly. And so the money that they had was everything to her. And long story short, she had actually just now built up this $800,000 that she had after it was depleted from the dot bomb. So 3 down years, 2000, 2001, 2002, $800,000 at 99 was now worth $800,000 again. So when she came in, we put together a great income plan. We were reducing her volatility. It was awesome. And then she called us a couple of days later and said, I'm sorry. I really like you guys, but I'm going to cancel the plan. My son, just didn't think that he really understood some of the tools that you were using, thought it sounded a little too conservative. And so I talked to the broker that we used to work with, and he suggested that we just stay the course. And that choice of her staying the course, 3 months later, the worst stock market decline in her living history. And that cost her $350,000 of her $800,000.
Oh my gosh.
Just devastating. And so when we think about future income, a lot of it is we just need to make sure that the assets that we have are protected and are put in a place where they're going to do what it is that they need to do. Because, somebody can recover from that as long as they don't, withdraw their money out at the bottom of the market. But it's just so emotionally devastating. And especially for somebody who was in a position like she was, having lost her spouse in less than a year. And so, looking at how all these things function together, it's really important to have the income piece taken care of, have the growth piece for that longevity and that inflation protection. That's awesome. But we don't want to sacrifice the whole plan and have it do what happened to Lucy, where it just, nearly a half of it is gone because of it being inappropriately invested in too heavily into growth for the age that she was at. Maybe this resonates with you. I mean, what happened to Lucy does not need to happen. And, a lot of what we do is trying to make sure that people are properly allocated as they continue to near retirement or have entered into retirement. It's really normal for people to be invested in the stock market, maybe 75 to 95% of their assets when they come in to see us, because you've spent your whole life, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, accumulating and growing your assets. But now it's time to start protecting them. And the number one priority as a company that we have is preserving what you've worked your entire life to accumulate. So if that matters to you, give us a call at 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit down for your initial visit and we're going to talk about what's the proper amount of risk to retain in retirement. And, it's doing a thorough risk assessment of your current plan, helping you educate on what the proper balance of risk and safety is as you're heading into retirement, or maybe you're already there. And you know what? Diversification is a huge key, but so is minimizing some of the volatility. And there's a really big difference between your risk tolerance, and your retirement plan's risk capacity. And we want to make sure that you know the difference. So there's no cost in sitting down to have this type of analysis that we do. It's our absolute pleasure. So give us a call at 800-725-8220, and we're going to connect you with one of our financial professionals. That's 800-725-8220.
No time like the present to reach out and get that plan started for your retirement. Just think of the weight that will be lifted, the confidence that you will have, the excitement you'll have going into this next phase of life. And all it takes is a simple phone call to get started. 800-725-8220. The website, make sure you check that out. Go to beckerretirement.com. Arwen, we mentioned inflation. That's a real threat to retirement. Social Security benefits, that's one way to battle inflation. Do you have other options to help your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we look at oftentimes a professionally managed account where we can look at how do we allocate your assets in the most broadly diversified way possible. So we want to look at your entire portfolio, your retirement accounts, investments that you have like your house, any other holdings, and we're going to look at how do we weather these periods of high volatility. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that your portfolio includes the kind of investments and insurance products that really fit well within your circumstances, the stage of life that you're in, your risk tolerance, all that kind of stuff. And, diversification, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a profit or that you won't lose money, but it really can help to safeguard our portfolios from the effects of major market volatility. And in my opinion, it really reduces the chance that we're going to panic and sell off after a really big market decline. I just pray to God that that's not something that Lucy did, as we were talking about, that she didn't sell off at the bottom when all of that money went. So really, it's important to stay diversified. You want to keep an appropriate mix of asset classes. When we're looking at utilizing different pieces. We got the Social Security, and maybe you have your pension, and then maybe you have an income annuity that's producing income for you month after month, year after year. And then you have a diversified portfolio. Ours are professionally managed. Our one focus that we have with the company that we utilize to help draw out these tremendous investments that we use is focus solely on risk management. So when you're looking at retirees' assets, you want to keep the fees low internally. You want to make sure that you are broadly diversified. I mean, when I look at, maybe it's aggressive growth portfolio, we could have representative of 6,000 stocks in there, 60 countries, 18 asset classes, but they're still going to only have about 15 holdings in the portfolio, which for a retiree, they don't want a statement that has, 16, 18, 40 pages or whatever it is. So we want to be able to try and keep things simplified, but still have a broad range of diversification. And one of the things that actually was brought to my attention not too long ago was a study that Vanguard did on the benefits of hiring a financial advisor, really what that means to you. And in David Bach's book, Smart Couples Finish Rich, it actually has this Vanguard study in it. And it really states that a great financial advisor, and it kind of lists out these bullet points, it says that could be worth to you more than 3% annually. And all of the things that are listed in that book are things that we do for our clients as a company. It's about rebalancing. It's about taking things out efficiently and in the proper order. It's a number of different things. So it's really important to have somebody. A lot of times people think, well, what's the fee really going to do for me? A lot, if it's the right person and they're doing the things that are necessary. So I would pick up a copy of that book, Smart Couples Finish Rich, and that's in there as well. Or you could call our office and we could at least give you that part of the article. So, when you think about all these things, it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and a lot of people just need some direction and some help. And it just makes you feel a little bit overwhelmed, or maybe you're nervous or you're worried. And if that's the case, you're in good company. It's very normal for people to come in and talk to us and feel that way. We see it all the time. But we help people just like you who want the most out of their retirement, but they just really don't know where to start and how to make it happen. And you know what? When I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, the best thing I can do is kind of sit down and make a little checklist for myself. And really what I would say, one of the best things that I love doing is then accomplishing some of those things and checking them off the list. So Randy and I kind of thought about this, and we thought, well, what could we do for our potential clients? And if you want to get a hold of that, we call that your retirement income planning checklist. It contains 10 things that you might want to consider when you're working with a financial professional that are going to help you develop your very own income strategy. So today, Randy and I are offering this. This guide is designed specifically for our radio listeners. So what you're going to want to do is you want to head to our website at realretirementradio.com. There you're going to be able to download your very own retirement income planning checklist. And what it's going to do, it's going to help you understand how to replace your paycheck after you leave the workforce. I mean, that's a big, significant task when people are thinking about, oh, wait, I'm supposed to now stop getting a paycheck. And that's really why a great plan will help you be able to do that. We want to give you permission to spend your own money. Download this guide at realretirementradio.com. That's realretirementradio.com. Or you can give us a call at 800-725-8220. Again, that number is 800-725-8220.
You've been listening to Real Retirement Radio on the Retirement News Network.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Becker Retirement Group are not affiliated companies. Becker Retirement Group is an independent financial services firm that helps people create retirement strategies using a variety of insurance and investment products. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to safety, security, or guaranteed lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investment products. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Becker Retirement Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. You should talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions about your personal situation. We are not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Saturday morning, drinking my coffee, checking my accounts, then that little voice in my head. What on earth are you doing? Why are you trying to be your own financial advisor? You don't know anything about the financial business. You got too much money at stake to do this by yourself. Too many people are counting on you. Sometimes you gotta listen to those voices. So I made the call. Monday I got the call back and met with Arwen and Randy Becker. Just the three of us. Had my numbers, portfolio, basically everything, and they said, put that away. We didn't talk about what I had, we talked about what kept me up at night. What Karen wants when we retire. Don't want to let her down. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and now here it is. We're not quite ready to retire, but we're ready to be ready.
Let's talk. Becker Retirement Group. 800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Becker Retirement Group are not affiliated companies.
The sooner you establish your relationship with an independent financial professional, the better. Why? That longer time horizon can give you more flexibility, broader product choices, more time to respond to market changes, more time to take advantage of opportunities, and more time to coordinate your entire financial strategy. Those are powerful reasons to get a professional in your corner while you're still working. Don't put off planning for your retirement. Choose to work with an independent financial professional. Why not start today? It may even help you retire earlier.
If it's important to you to get started today to refine your retirement strategy, give me a call. I'm Arwen Becker with Becker Retirement Group. Let's sit down together and look at your options. Call me at 1-800-725-8220. That's 800-725-8220. By contacting us, you may be provided with information regarding the purchase of insurance and investment products.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.